Week 7 of the NFL season kicks off tonight, which makes it a perfect time to welcome back our great friend and a fellow attorney, Steve Young. Let's start with this. Aaron Rodgers is great, but his dropback percentage right now is 71.4%. That is the highest in his career. And he's got one knee. Okay, he's got one knee. Why can't defenses do better against him? They have to know he's looking to throw on every down.
Tony, have you not been watching the NFL? This is an explosion of offensive points, production. I mean, the game is, they've set the, you saw linemen who were about to sack Tom Brady last week and like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I should maybe wait and let me pull off on that one. Look, it is the glory time to be a quarterback. And if you're one of the 3 or 4 who play ahead of the defense, who know all the data and own it and reflexively recall, all of a sudden you only need one leg. And you can go out there and throw for 400 plus and go and win football games. And Drew Brees is 78%, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, this is a quarterback's dream. I know I sound like the old guy, but yes, I'm going to admit it. I am jealous. I want to be Aaron Rodgers on one leg and go play right now.
Steve, aren't these phony numbers? These are phony baloney numbers.
No, it's hard to play quarterback. It's still hard. There's no question. I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh yeah, it's just like, but the experts, the guys that are ahead of it, who, like I said, reflexive recall, the data and everything, this is a time that's anyone who ever played quarterback looks today and go, wow, I'd like to play right now. That looks like a lot of fun.
Steve, I know that we are probably on this show spending much too much time on Nathan Peterman and
we are.
And his travails. But he
just like the name.
He's been benched in Buffalo now. And Derek Anderson, who I think was last spotted maybe selling things off a water ice truck and, in Phoenix. I mean, God knows where that guy's been. He's actually going to start. As Uncle Steve, what advice would you give to the Peterman right now?
Oh, I swear I've had so many Petermans call me over the years and say to me, Steve, I just figured out football and they threw me out of town. There's this learning curve, and it happens. It does happen a lot where it's like you go through all this mess and you're just a train wreck trying to figure out how to play quarterback, and all of a sudden the light goes on. You're like, sorry, bro, we've watched you way too much. You need to leave. And he's in that Maginot line right now where it's like, it could be over, and he might call me. I just figured it out, and it's too late. You have those few shots, and you got to make the most of them. So, I would tell him, pray that you can stick around long enough to, kind of transition and change the narrative.
See, Steve has a heart. He feels bad for him too.
You feel bad for him. I feel bad for him.
It's always left to me to turn the conversation to defense, and so I'm going to mention the Bill Belichick comment. That nobody's in Lawrence Taylor's class, which I agree with. I watched you try to solve Lawrence Taylor in person many a time, but I want to hear you describe what it's like to play against Lawrence Taylor and whether anybody, including the great Khalil Mack right now, is in his class.
Yeah, no, it is different. And the way I say it's different, and Reggie White's the other one that I played against that was different. And the difference is that it really is a one-man show. One person, and you can double team, you can chip, all the tricks to try to slow people down. You couldn't do it to him. And the defense was good enough to make up for when you put all your resources over to Lawrence Taylor, there's other people to play, of course. But Reggie and Lawrence single-handedly could take over a game. We've seen Khalil do that, but it was not just, a few game here, game there. It was like every week these two guys dominated, and you could not block them. Nobody, people came back, my offensive line was like, I can't block him.
They would admit to this during the game?
I can't block him. Give me some help. No one can block. And so there are human beings, very rarely, that are unblockable. And those are two guys.
All right, so we've got the Broncos and the Cardinals tonight, and Case Keenum, who came over from Minnesota, right? He's struggling for Denver, and John Elway has caught some heat. Do you believe it is somehow harder for a great quarterback to find a great quarterback?
I used to joke with Bill Walsh that the great players can't be great coaches because they did it their way. And they want everyone to do it how they did it because that's how they were great. And that's why great coaches can't be great players. And I said, well, luckily, Bill, you were a lousy player, so that's why you're such a great coach. And he said, yeah, I was great at San Mateo Junior College. You should have seen me whip it around. It's like, but I think there's something to it, but John's beat that back. And I really give him tip of the cap that he can be a great player and be great at his job as a general manager. But it is tough to pick quarterbacks. We know that. It's not, the science of picking quarterbacks is give me 5 choices and I'll get one of them right. It's not easy. But Case Keenum is not the problem. Case Keenum was not brought in to be John Elway. Case Keenum was not brought in to be Superman. We're supposed to have a Superman defense that doesn't get trucked 2 weeks in a row and give up 200-plus yards. Our offensive line that's patchwork, not giving him the help. Case Keenum's stretching too far. He's trying to do too much because he sees things around. So like, where's this Bronco defense? Where's this offensive line? Where's all the stuff I need? And I could be Case Keenum. Please don't tell me that the narrative today is if we had a different quarterback, Denver would be better. There's a lot of other problems in Denver before you get to Case Keenum.
It's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you
really
so
is.
much,
Every
Steve.
week. We love it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.